Are you the new supervisor?
I am, and you are?
I'm Constable Harry.
Constable Harry?
Harry, awesome.
How old are you?
207.
Whoa!
I'm not in bad shape for the shape I'm in, am I? Hey, look at that truck over there. That's the first truck the fire district ever had. Am I right, Chief?
That's it.
Hey, boy, what's those cars? Where the guys own those cars?
Marissa.
Where's Dickie?
Yeah, Marissa Roman.
Dickie, where are you? He's like, no, you know, they're in a coffee shop even now. Anyhow, thank you for being here. Here's the supervisor. Hey, boy, have I got a story to tell about this town, reminiscing. You know what? I put this out last night, but we gotta hurry up, right, Father Bill?
Thank you, Constable. You look great for 207 years old. Anyhow, before it snows, oh, sorry. I think his rosary had something to do with it. He told me that he's hung his rosary all week so it wouldn't rain. So hopefully the rain will hold off for a little while longer. But anyhow, well, good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Cosmo Junta, the Gatestown supervisor of this magnificent town of Gates. I want to welcome you all to our Preserving Gates history event today. Today we stand on the grounds of the Hinchey homestead, which William Hinchey purchased and settled on back in 1810. We are here today to recognize the efforts and hard work of our Gates Historical Society and our town historian, Bill Gillette. Because of them, the structure right behind you is now listed on the National Registry of Historical Places. It's the only structure in our town to be designated as so. And to commemorate that, a historical sign marker was installed a few months ago, and that's right behind you. You want to take a look. Also, through their efforts, which included soliciting donations and applying for grant funding, they were able to pay for the replication and replacement of the entire fence, which to my knowledge, the original one still had sections of it from, again, the original fence, but you know, over the years there have been many repairs to it. So take a look at that. It was replicated to the original format of this fence here. So fantastic job. And then our most recent addition here, which is the flagpole. That flagpole was transplanted from the old Doud post, which was also Rick's prime rib, that was graciously donated to us by the current owners, which I'll talk to in a second. But before I continue on with this program, I just quickly wanted to recognize a few dignitaries here with us today who took the time out of their busy schedule to be here. We have our Senator Joe Robach. We have Monroe County legislators Yaversa Roman, I think I saw her, there she is, and also Frank Alcoffer. From the Town Board of Gates, we have Councilman Cordero, Councilman Lachlan. We have our infamous police chief, Chief Van Brederode. We also have here with us our Gates Jolly Chamber of Commerce President Tony DiCiacci. I think I saw him out in the audience. And let's see here. I didn't miss anybody. I just want to make sure. Everybody has a program, so we'll be. And then again, we have our fire Gates Jolly Fire District here. Members. We have members from the Doud Post here as well. A few residents here. Fantastic. All right. Let's see here. Before we get to the program, I just wanted to give a special shout out and thank you to the following individuals and companies who have assisted us through this with their generous donations. The first one is Dennis Keating from the Garden Factory. The Garden Factory donated all the shrubbery here that you see around. That's fantastic. We have West Crester Brick Company, who donated all the landscaping brick around here as well. We have Brad White of Westside Landscaping, and also Joe Eisenhower from Flower City Landscaping, who donated their time and services to actually do the landscaping here with the donated materials. So thank you. We have Vince DeRamo and Mike Nucitelli, along with their family members. Actually, Mike is not here, but his son and daughter are here. They actually donated the flagpole, which they recently purchased the property over there at the old Doud Post and Rick's Prime Rib. So they are the new owners. But again, without them, we would never get this flagpole. So thank you guys very much, and we appreciate that. They have good plans for that parcel. So hopefully that will be coming soon in the town of Gates. Fred's Flag, who's donating a flag to us today to be erected up on the flagpole. Alan Bowens from the Sign of Jonah. He actually created the fundraiser sign out there, the meter sign. So thank you, Alan. Can't forget our grounds maintenance guys, Jim Campbell and all his crew. I think they're standing in the back, but Christian, Shane, Dante's not here, but guys, thank you so much for your efforts with helping continue to keep this property up to date and clean and all the extra work. We have our highway our highway foreman, Mike Leone, and some of the guys who came in and they dug the poles for us. Thank you, Mike. You know, for both the flagpole and the sign there. He also did some tree trimming here for us as well, taking down a couple trees, so thank you guys. Last but not least, a sincere gratitude to Bill Gillette, who is our town historian, for his continual push to get things done so that we can preserve and continue to make history here in our town. Thank you, Bill. It's great to see what our community can accomplish if we all come and work together. So, with that said, I would like to call Reverend William Leone for the invocation here.
Let us pray. O God, creator of the universe and our world, grant to your humble servants gathered together this day your blessing. And bless this flag and our nation and the pole from which it flies. May all who look upon the stars and stripes be reminded that freedom is not free, and that we are all equal under the law for which this flag stands. God bless the Hinchey family, whose home still honors Gates, New York, with its beauty. And bless all who preserve our history, especially the Gates Historical Society. May peace soon come to all who call the United States of America their country and their home. Amen.
Amen.
Next, I would like to call up New York State Senator Joe Robach.
Good afternoon. I'm honored and delighted to be here. Let me say very quickly, thank you for everyone in Gates, the Historical Society, the town, the Vision, Bill Gillette, all the people that contribute to this, because, you know, the thing about preserving history is fiscally you can't afford to preserve all of history, but it's very important that you do some of it, and because once it's gone, you're never getting it back. And this is a beautiful embracing of Gates's rich history in so many ways, whether it's been agriculture, the people that came here and settled, commerce, education, you name it, really remembering all the great people that came before us who helped make Gates such a great place. But I am really delighted that as part of that, part of our history, and I think that should be true everywhere, is the men and women from our communities that have served to defend everything we hold dear, our freedom of speech, our freedom of religion, the ability to walk around in relative safety. In fact, it's not really the people who serve in government that do that. It's the men and women that defended that against people that wanted to take that away from us, that gave it to us. So I'm so happy, and I want to thank Vinnie DeRamo also and the Nucitellis for having that flag from Doud Post come over here. And I think it's a great exclamation point on Gates's history that we never forget our veterans and men and women that served before us. So job well done to everybody. As a token of my appreciation, if I could just call Bill Gillette up here. I am in the state legislature, but I have a flag here through Tom Reed's office that was flown over our nation's capital this year that I'd like you to have and hopefully display somewhere here at the Hinchey House in honor of Gates's rich history and also especially of all our veterans community. So thank you to everybody that made that happen. And Bill, please accept that as a token of my appreciation. Thank you. All right, you're supposed to stay right up here.
I am?
Yep. Flag to be raised by Paul Snyder and I don't know who else.
We get the commander.
Commander John Ross.
Here's the flag too. Thank you.
Sure.
Afternoon. So we heard a little bit of the history of the Hinchey House, but I have a little bit of history I'd like to share with you as well. And I promise it won't take long and I'll get to the reason why I'm here. In 1918, William W. Doud was killed in action near Grand Prix, France during World War I. He was first buried in France and then brought back in 1921 where he was reburied at Holy Sepulchre in 1921. In June of 1919, members of the 309th Heavy Field Artillery gathered and discussed the desirability of forming an American Legion post. Those attending the meetings were buddies of William Doud, and he served with him in France. The application was accepted, and a charter was granted on July 8, 1919. Meetings were first held at the New York State Armory from 1919 to 1930. In the later part of 1930, the post seriously took in consideration the purchase of their own home. During this process, the post consulted the parents of William W. Doud. They recalled that the last place that William worked was in a field on their farm on Buffalo Road. And their last recollection of seeing him leave was walking down Buffalo Road as he walked toward Rochester, saying goodbye. They had hoped that a permanent home would be built in that area. With the generous financial help from the Doud family, a 14-acre farm was bought. It was known as the Steve West Estate. Doud Post was the first servicemen's organization to own their own home. And having their own home, a lot of veterans joined and they became one of the largest posts in the county at that time. The first post home was lost in a fire in February 1937. On October 28, 1938, ground was broken for the new Doud Post. In the 1940s, Doud Post was known as the finest home in all of the country. And I still get stories when I do poppies about the famous fish fries. I joined the post 30 years after my discharge. And many nights I sat there after a meeting looking around thinking, boy, what a place this must have been during them times. Which kind of brings us to the present. In the late 1990s, we sold the building to Rick's Prime Rib. We still had our meetings there and had our functions there. But as you were told, Rick's was sold. And we got a little worried about what was going to happen to, well, if you ever walk down Rick's down the ramp, you've seen the memorial there. So we got together, in came Bill Gillette. I said, Bill, you think the town could help us out with this? And he says, let me work on that. Well, now if you go down to Memorial Park, you see that memorial there by the flagpole. Last thing was the flagpole. We purchased that pole about, 2001 or so. And what happened was the pole was getting rusty. The flag was running into the tree out front and was getting tattered. and every time we put a new flag up, somebody would steal it. So, new pole, new location, inside lanyard, and there you have it. Lots of history there. Thanks to Bill Gillette. He got some right here, and everything else. Nice guy to work with. So, I'm done what I'm going to have to say. I hope you all stay healthy. Thank you for your time, and we'd like to raise the colors. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now I would like to call up Monroe County Legislator Frank Alcalfer to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
This is always an honor when I can lead the pledge. And before we do, we recite the words. Please think of the meaning of each word. We're going to pledge our allegiance to the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. So with that, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Frank. And now, with great pleasure, here to sing God Bless America is our own autism ambassador, Dalton Letta, with Jordan Smith.
Now the storm clouds gather far across the sea. Let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
And next, I would like to call up Walker Hinchey. You were the great-great-grandson? Great-grandson. The great-grandson of William Hinchey.
Well, I'm truly very humbled by this gathering. I was the last one of my family to actually live here, grow up here. Some would say I haven't grown up yet, but but I was the last one, and I can honestly say it was a wonderful place to grow up. It was also, we had a wonderful neighborhood. But more importantly, or not more importantly, but I can't thank the people enough who have been instrumental in preserving this. Many of us have Ancestry.com, and we know where our relatives came from. But this is so wonderful for me and my family to be able to look back and say, yeah, we lived there, as well as look at Ancestry.com. I have to thank the Historical Society has done an incredible job, and County Gates has been very, very supportive, as Bill Gillette. It's amazing. This started, I think Sue Swanton and I sort of talked probably 20-some years ago about preserving. And you know how that goes. My father was still living here, and Mike Volpe, his buddy, lived across the street. They were a couple of grumpy old men. But I owe a lot to Mike because he wouldn't let anybody, we wouldn't let me throw anything out. So it's well preserved and it's all here. What else? I'd like to, the fence. The fence is, as you know, has been rebuilt. A good friend of mine who did a lot of work, a guy named Terrence Cranston, has done a lot of work for me personally. And I mentioned that because we're having a little difficulty finding somebody to work on the fence financially within the realm of reason. I asked Terrence, and Terrence is one of those guys that likes a challenge. And I said, well, would you go take a look at it? And he said, sure. He came down and looked at it, and he came back and said, well, that thing is spent. You know, and that we all knew that. So he said, yeah, I'd like to take a shot at it. And I put him in touch with Susan. Susan, they negotiated a deal, and there's the fence. But one of the things about the fence, and I told him this because years ago somebody crashed into it and we had to get it fixed. But each one of those pickets is like custom made. And they're like 400 pickets. He failed to sort of take that into consideration. because apparently every one of those pickets has to go through a planer or a router like 6 times. So it's your basic custom-made fence. And I, for one, thinks it looks pretty good. What else? As I said earlier, I am very humbled by this. I'm so happy that it's being preserved and very, very well maintained. And I can't thank the Historical Society enough in the town for what they've been doing to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for a few remarks, I'd like to call Monroe County Legislator Eversa Roman, followed by our President of Gates Historical Society, Sue Swanton.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Eversa Roman. I'm the minority leader for the Democratic Caucus of Monroe County Legislature, as well as the representative for this area. Newly elected and excited to be here today for many different reasons, but specifically to talk about and thank the preservation of history. So I want to say thank you to the town of Gates, the Gates Historical Society, as well as Gates Town historian Bill Gillette. And he's really one of the main reasons why I'm here today. He reached out and connected and wanted to make sure that I was aware of how beautiful of a space Gates is. And he needed to know how fantastic Gates was, the history, and how it's connected to various parts of the city of Rochester. So if you're not familiar with the district that I represent, it's very interesting in the fact that I represent Gates, a part of the city of Rochester, Northwest Rochester, as well as Greece. So I'm all over the place, and it takes people like Bill to help me understand the beauty of all parts of the district. So thank you, Bill, for doing that, and thank you all for welcoming me with open arms. It's really important to continue to talk about our history and acknowledge how our history has impacted and will impact our future. As a new mom, I'm a new mom to a 4.5-month-old, and I can only imagine his reality when he's sitting before all of you 30-something years from now. And only think about the things that we've lost in that time. So I'm really humbled by the fact that there's a home behind us with a plethora of history, 200 years plus, that has been preserved, not only for the Hinchey family, but for the families of Gates and the families of Rochester, so that we can continue to build off our past into our future and ensure that we are telling the stories of all of our families. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you all for continuing to do the great work, and I look forward to continuing to work alongside you all. Thank you.
All right. I'm Susan Swanton, and I've had the honor of being president for the last 2 years. Thank you. And also the president that helped found the Gates Historical Society. And many of you know, can't hear me? All right. Many of you know that I worked at Gates Public Library, so this is my metaphor for today. Those of you who remember the Little Engine That Could story, it's a childhood classic, but it's also a metaphor for life, for small but stout-hearted organizations like the Gates Historical Society. Through most of this pandemic, the Society has repeatedly said, we think we can, we think we can, we think we can, we think we can. But we were fortunate enough to get the Pomeroy grant for the National Register of Historic Places roadside that you see in front of you at the homestead now. I attended the Museum Association of New York's annual conference and brought back the information on the Pomeroy grants. And board member Cindy Hinchey took it and ran. And as a result, you see the roadside sign out there, the first sign for this unique location in the town of Gates. Thank you, Cindy. Then we won a second grant for our new laptop and the museum software, and this is a Pomeroy Foundation grant. Pomeroy Foundation, and if you look at the porches and you look at the fence, you'll see they share architectural details. We had only 1/3 of the money for the fence project, but true to our little engine that could hearts, we said yes, we would do it. When the board of the Gates Historical Society heard that we had won a 3rd Pomeroy Foundation grant, we gulped and looked at each other and we said, can we raise $6,000 in 2 months' time to earn a matching 50% grant from the Pomeroy Foundation? With our hearts in our throats, we agreed to try. But we knew this was the way that we would earn the money that we needed to spend on the new homestead fence. Started by a generous $1,000 gift from an anonymous society board member, and with the help of many friends and supporters, we publicized our matching grant objective in our newsletter to our members. An appeal was mailed to Hinchey Homestead neighbors. We posted our appeal on Facebook and our webpage, and we talked it up with our friends and our family. The stars were aligned, and we have succeeded and then some. We have received over $7,500 in donations for the Fence Fund. Thanks to Ray Coons, our treasurer, I completed this morning the online form to earn the matching $3,000. That was the matching cap that they would give us from the Pomeroy Foundation. That means we've got $10,500 toward the $14,700 cost of the fence. But this would not have happened without a lot of work from a lot of people. I'm going to ask the 15 members of the board of the Historical Society if they would stand up right now and be recognized. These are the worker bees that make it happen. Thank you guys. You are there for all of us. Now that we've finished the fence, the next project is the barn. And if you haven't gone back and looked at the barn, take a look. It's one of the few left in the town of Gates. And the Hinchey Homestead is a farmhouse, but a very fancy one. And of course, a farmhouse needs a barn. So we're going to be preserving that. And thanks to an anonymous donor we think we have about half the money we need to restore the barn. We have $35,000. Success happens when board members, neighbors, community come together for a shared goal. Today would not have happened without the support of our elected officials, our wonderful town liaison, Bill Gillette. Bill Gillette, you have single-handedly redefined what it means to be a town historian. No one is ever going to walk in your shoes. They'll never be able to do it. And our fully committed board. All of our board members contributed to the Fence Fund. We are ever so grateful for the town support that we have received, not just recently, but over the past 20 years. And for those of you who go way back, I remember when Pete Formicola, who was the county legislator, said to me, Susan, you make the town of Gates look good, we'll make you look good. And I said, that's a deal. It's still a deal. May I always make the town of Gates look good. May the Gates Historical Society repay this community support by developing Hinchey Homestead into the model historic site and by enhancing the town's pride in its long and illustrious heritage. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who is here today for all of you have done to help us and to help us celebrate together. And if you are not yet a member of the Historical Society, we have membership forms over on our table, and we would love to have you join us as a member and even more so as a volunteer. So thank you for helping to make this a great celebration. And now as we coast down the hill in connection with our little theme song here, we're going to say, we thought we could, we thought we could, we thought we could, we did, we did, we did. So thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Sue. Another big hand for Sue Swanton. All right, I'd like to call up Dalton Letta and Jordan Smith again.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, guys. You guys rocked it. Dalton and Jordan are part of our Campaign D social club that normally meets every Friday. Thank you again, gentlemen, for being here today. Now I would like to call up our Gates Town historian, Bill Gillette. Are you Bill or Harry?
Harry.
Harry? Harry or Bill? Who's coming?
Harry.
Harry's back. Back in my day, this is what we used. We didn't use we used common sense.
Trying to sprinkle. Sorry.
Father talked to me this morning. He said, bring the rosary. I put it out late at night in my rose bush, and it worked so far. Right, Father? And this is the policeman rosary that I carry with me. And Jimmy and I, when we were, used to be a rookie cop way back when, we had these. Remember, Jim? Anyhow, I don't want to hold you up real quickly. Yes. And they all talked about what I was in the past, but that's the past. And we're here today to talk about saving the past, preserving the history of a wonderful town. As we get older, we talk about more things than we did before, because that's what we do. We remember. All these people talked about remembering. I can remember when we got that truck back. We had to fight like heck to get it back, right, Jimmy? But we got it back. That was the first truck the Gates Fire District ever had, and it was mailed or shipped to Coldwater, New York. Right, Jim? Anyhow, I'm going to skip around a little bit. I don't want to. Cosmo, I thank you for your support today. As many of you know, I was appointed historian 5 years ago by Mr. Assini to take care of my time. As you know, I had a lot of time on my hand then. And somebody said, let's do historical stuff. So one thing led to another, and doing a little reading, we went into more and more and more. Then this guy comes along, and he says, here, take care of more things. So the more things we take care of, the more things my plate gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It used to be a 12-hour part-time get a job. But I can't charge overtime, and besides, we don't have overtime money. So, but really, all due respect to Cosmo and the town board members, they have gone along with some of my requests and some of my requests to get things done, because that's the only way we can do it, is work together to get things done. All of you here are here for a reason. Reminisce, reminisce, reminisce. We had a great fundraiser event, as Susan said. That's because all of you saw that the society, working with the historical, my office, and Cosmo here, we did things. We didn't talk about it, we did it. That's one of the biggest problems. I heard my buddy over here, my senator over here, my old buddy, talk about the politicians nowadays. They don't take care of things. Well, you know what? Sometimes we have to do things ourselves, right? So as a result of it, we were to make them deals, as Wally Hinchey and I, we made them deals, and as a result of the deals, you see the fence. Once we did the fence, people talked more about the building. One thing led to another. I didn't get the flagpole moved in time, so we ran into some new people who own the Doud Post property, and lo and behold, old Vinny over there and some of my former clients, they take them home and say, tell your mother why I brought you home. They turned around and look what they did for us. And then we have, Vinny and Mr. Matthias, thank you. Also, I'm going to cut it short because Father, I didn't say enough film and everything, right? But there's an old song. You have the world in your hands. Think about that. You have the world in your hands. And nowadays, what's happening in the real world, you really do have the world in your hands. The people of the town of Gates, it's a part of the great history of the world in your hands. We, my office, the town supervisor, and the board, are leaving it in the hands of the Historical Society and the people of this town. If you want it to continue, we're at the two-way street. And so far, you see, we want to make it continuing. So please help any way you can, because Susan has another idea with board supporting at the barn. I can't get into it right now, but if the barn turns out the way we want it, it'll be a huge addition to the town. And we might have a couple new supplies in a couple months for this guy over here. So I'd like to thank you for being here today. There's a special person I'd like to thank for being here today. A businessman, a young gentleman, and I mean a gentleman. Frankie, we made make him a G-boy, all right? Brad White. Where is Brad? Where's my buddy Brad? Brad, come on up here, Brad. He is a very, very outstanding young gentleman. And we don't find young gentlemen like this lately, although I found Vinny back there, but all we hear about is the negativity. And between Vinny and this guy over here, there is hope for the future of this country, because they want to do things. They want to do things for the right reason. And they are doing things for the right reason. He owned West Side Landscaping Company, which is on Buffalo Road. And for the elderly people here, remember the Howard Johnson Hotel and Restaurant on Buffalo Road, the gas station, with the orange roof? I know Tony does. You don't remember Howard Johnson Restaurant with the orange? I can't believe it. Preserving evidence. We got to keep that building too. Anyhow, really, Susan, would you please come up here? Cosmo, please. This is something that, after talking to this gentleman last night for quite a while here, getting a little dark out before he rode home with his motorcycle, and I rode home to my house and made stuff with. I'd like to present it to Brad White. This is a token of all I can do out of my office, because my budget is very small. But Crab. Thank you. You're welcome. This is on behalf of the town of Gate, the Historical Society, and my office. If there's a word, 2 words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bill, for this. I really didn't expect it. I don't think let's just say that. And all I want to say is that I started my business officially in the town of Gates when I purchased that property on Buffalo Road, across from Abbott's Custard, across from the restaurant he was mentioning. And we're in our 20th season of business. And I tell people all the time, I'm so grateful that I started my business in the town of Gates, because they're just real folks. They're real people. When we have an issue, we can just go in and talk about it, make sure we're all working together. And it's just been a tremendous place to have and own and operate a business. So I really just want to say thanks to the town of Gates.
That's what I mean by young individuals moving into Gates, because Gates is the center of the county of Monroe and the hub of the community. So we're working not we personally, but the town government is working very closely with Vinny on another major project, and he have a couple more projects on the planning board right now to help move the town forward in a positive way. I know my buddy, the grumpy old man from the north, wants to say something. I'm the grumpy old man from the south, but I'm going to go back to where I came from. And you gentlemen and ladies have a great afternoon. There's milk and cookies and whatever Dan got over there for the recreation department. Again, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I think you deserve a vacation, by the way. There's no more overtime, so we'll give you a couple weeks off. Again, big thank you for town historian Bill Gillette.
You know, Bill hit it on the head. Bill and I have been, we've been friends for so long. We're known as Uncle Bill, Uncle Frank, grumpy old men. If you ever saw the movie, that's Bill and I. He's a grumpy old man from the south. I'm a grumpy old man from the north. But every day, Bill and I are on the phone. Morning, 6:30 or 7 o'clock, he calls me up in some of his offices to check on me. Noon, we check on each other again. And 7, 8 at night, again, another phone call. Absolutely, every phone call, we talk about the town of Gates and what we can do. And one thing that Bill always mentions to me, the word that he used today is remembrance. Remember how things used to be. We have to carry those things in our mind and improve our community. I can remember what was once vacant fields are now subdivisions, businesses. But that's progress. That's the town of Gates. And one other thing I wanted to mention, and Bill, mentioned a little bit, and that's inclusion. That's another one of Bill's favorite words, and I use it too now. No matter what your political views are, your religious views, your ethnicity, we are a community of inclusion. We embrace everyone coming into our community. So again, on behalf of Bill, and a big thank you to the Gates Historical Society for what they do for our community. So thank you so much. And again, thank you for today's attendance.
No? Okay. I'd like to call up Father Leon again.
Let us pray. In you, Lord our God, all things have their beginning, continuation, and end. Grace all of us gathered here with your saving presence in our lives. Aid us with your constant help, and let us glorify you now and forever. God bless each and every one of you and all of your families.
Amen. Amen. Taps.
All right, I'd like to welcome our Chief, James Van Bretterell, who will be playing the bagpipes for us. Thank you, Chief. See, not only is he a police chief, he's very talented in the bagpipe. So, again, we're fortunate to have him. Well, this concludes our ceremony. I truly wanted to thank everybody for attending tonight. We did kind of beat the rain. There are some refreshments here. But again, on behalf of myself, the town board, Gates Historical Society, thank you for coming out. Let's, again, what we can accomplish by working together, as you can see, we need to continue on. So thanks again. Enjoy your weekend, and go Gates.
All those were